Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Marina. I'm a fashion, lifestyle, and travel blogger. If you're new here, welcome. I am Marina at her Millennial Closet. I do everything fashion. I'm modest, but with a lot of sexy to it. And you will see as you stay along here. If you haven't already done this, please hit the subscribe or hit the notification button so you don't miss anything, any content from me at all. And also, pardon my voice, I'm getting over a cold, so my voice is still doing her thing somehow, so forgive me for that. But let's get into my outfit. I have on this bodysuit. It is from Amazon. It's on my storefront. It's linked in my bio. Check it out. It's one of those pieces bodysuits I've gotten so many colors, and I should stop at this point. And then I have on a white linen pants from Xoxo. This little cute and sexy moment I have going on. And then my jewelries are the same jewelry that I always have on. I never change it. But anyway, welcome to this video. By the title, you already know this is a sit down about my Italy experience. I got questions about this trip when I was there, and I felt like doing a sit down and just talk about it. We'll kind of give you guys insight on the trip, how it was, is it worth it, do you think you want to go, especially for those that are thinking about visiting the Amalfi coast or even going to Lake Como in general. And I think few people told me they didn't really know Lake Como existed after my trip. So I think this is a good sit down conversation to talk about. I have some of the questions from Instagram, and then some of the things I did to prepare for the trip. If you haven't watched this already, I have a vlog up. I have two-part vlogs up already for Lake Como separately, and then there's a vlog up for Amalfi. You can catch up on that. They're going to be in the description below. But this sit down is just to talk about the trip in general and what to expect going to Italy. Did I experience racism, the cost, all of that. I'll be very transparent so that you can have a better insight on the trip. So let's get into this. Why did I want to go to Italy? Italy was on my list this year, to be honest, of things. And also I have questions on my phone. I'm going to bring it up later, but let me just introduce the video. Italy was a trip that I wanted to do this year. It was on my list of countries I wanted to visit. It was actually meant to be a birthday trip, but then when we started planning for Italy, all my friends that was supposed to go with me, 2 of them got pregnant. And then the other ones just got busy, so it kind of like became a no trip. You know how planning a big trip with a group of people gets? It just didn't meet the expectations anymore, so I was just like, whatever. So Italy became a backseat, and then one of my friends, she said, we can still do something for your birthday. So we started planning a different trip for my birthday. It was outside of that. But then Italy was still in the back of my head because it was something that I wrote down and I wanted to do this year, so I said I must do it regardless. So we had the July 4th weekend off from work. I was very tired. I've been working. I haven't been out of travel or any taking vacation since the year started. I was just like, I needed a break. So I decided to book a ticket to go to Amalfi alone. I booked the flight. Everything was set. And then my friend May, you guys saw her in the vlog, May was like, you're not going to Italy alone. I'm coming with you. Actually, my best friend was supposed to come with me, but then she's pregnant, so she couldn't travel, do the journey. So May was like, I'm coming with you. You're not going alone. It's Italy. And she was just like, I want to go to Lake Como. Are you okay with going to Lake Como first before going to Amalfi? I was like, sure, that's fine. It's not a big deal. So that was how I got a travel buddy, and it just became so fun. And she's an amazing travel person. You know how you travel with somebody and you come back and there's drama? Man, it's not it. And 2, I've traveled with somebody before, and the day we left the airport, we haven't spoken to each other, and it's probably 10 years later. So yeah, I don't do drama when I travel. That's why I either travel solo or I travel with a partner. Other than that, I don't want stress. But when May offered, and she's a sweet girl, so I was like, sure, let's do this. So here's how we plan for the trip. From Houston to Italy, let me tell you something. Let me bring out the questionnaire so I can be able to answer everything correctly. I don't miss anything or leave anything out. So YouTube. From Houston to Italy, here's how much this costs, flight and overall experience. So because this was such a last minute kind of planning, we didn't take months to plan this. We started planning this the second week of June, and we left the end of June. So there was not enough time to plan in between. So we bought our flight because to fly to go, there is no airport. So let me say this, there is no airport in Lake Como. Know this. So the only way you get to Lake Como is by train or the ferry, and the closest city to that is either you go to Milan and then you take the train, is an hour train, or you take a ferry or a taxi. So that is the way to get to Lake Como. What we did, because all the flight to get into Milan was like 2,000, 3,000. Why? I wasn't willing to pay that much money, so I had to be realistic with myself. So we decided to fly into Switzerland. Now you can say, well, why didn't you guys fly to Turkey? There was no flight from Houston to Turkey. I'm not lying to you. Everybody is outside. Okay? And I'm not even mad at them, because after the last 3 years we've had, you gotta be outside at this point. So I support people being outside. Everybody was outside. So there was no reasonable flight. We actually got a flight to Turkey and it canceled like 3 times. So the only airline that could keep us was Qatar airline, and the only way we could get there is through Switzerland. So that was the most affordable one from Houston. Now, sorry about that. Now, if I was still in DC, it would have been this difficult, to be honest, but Houston is in the middle of nowhere, so we both know this. Texas is all the way up there. So we took a flight from Houston to Doha and then Switzerland. Now that cost us $1,400 a person. Would I ever do that journey again? No, because it's too long. So the way our outbound was, we flew to Dallas for like an hour, and then we were there for 3 hours, and then we took a 14 hours flight from Dallas to Doha. That was so long. That was very uncomfortable. I would never do that again. It was just too long for me, but it was the cheapest, and I'll be very transparent with you guys. I don't like to spend money that much. That's a lie. I spent way too much money, but I was willing to spend 3 grand on a flight. That's the truth. So so we took that flight. It was really long, and then when we got to Doha, we had to wait for another 4 hours before we could get on a flight to Switzerland. It was just a lot of travel. It was 6 hours long. Will I do this? No, it was just too long a flight to do. And then when we got to Switzerland, we also had to take a train. So this is how we got to Lake Como. We took a 2 hours train, 2.5 hours train from Switzerland to Lake Como. We drove on the countryside. It was really nice. It was very green. This was my first start in Switzerland, even though we were at the airport, but I really liked the place. It seems very clean and very nice, so I really like that. I think the train ride to Italy was very good and relaxing, because we have been traveling for so long. We're really tired, and to be honest with you, it was a very long journey to get to Lake Como. It took us 2.5 days, and when we got home, we just crashed. Now the overall journey, like I said, it was very long, but it was a good experience. We didn't lose our bags, so I give that to Qatar airline. We got all our bags going and all our bags coming back. The train ride was easy as well. You don't have to do this, and I wouldn't redo it again. We paid for first class on the train, which was about $200 for both of us. You don't need that, because they don't care where you sit. They just offer that on the website. It's not necessary. But from Switzerland to Lake Como on the train is like 25 euros a person, but leave it to me and May to be extra. We ended up paying for first class, and it wasn't that. We thought we was gonna get a cabin and a seat and food. That's why we paid that. You don't get none of that. You just sit down like regular people, and nobody even check if you pay for first class or not. So it was waste of money, but at the same time we didn't know that. But yeah, so when we got into Europe, transportation was a little cheaper. Now when we got to Lake Como, we stayed at this hotel called Hotel Grigio. Now I'm helping you with like finances and everything, so you can plan for your own trip. We stayed at Hotel Grigio. We stayed there for 5 nights, and it was about $1,400. On the whole journey, Lake Como was the most expensive. It's Lake Como, duh. So that was the most expensive for us to stay, but we got the soft life. We got breakfast, it was included. We did laundry there, but we had to pay for that. The room was big enough. We had a really nice view. They had a pool, they had a jacuzzi. It was an overall 10 over 10 for me for that hotel. It was very clean, the staff was very nice, they treated us very, very well. And even at one point that we needed help with certain things, they would take care of it. Transportation, they would take care of it. But let me touch transportation a little bit in Lake Como. So do not get to Lake Como without having taxi available to come and get you. So apparently on the whole of the lake, on the whole lake, they only have 50 taxi drivers. How is that possible? Like, especially during the summertime when so many people comes out. And I don't know if this was true, but that is what we kept being told, that they only have 50 drivers in the whole, on the whole lake. So this is why they're always so booked. Be careful about that, because we got stranded, and in Italy there is no Uber, there is no Airbnb, there is no Uber, there is no Lyft. So it's either the taxi or the train or the bus, and depending on the part of the lake you stay, you have to prepare for that. We didn't do that, and that was one of the hardest part of this whole trip. So we stayed in Lake Como. So on the lake there are different villages or provinces or however way they want to call it. They have Verona, they have Lecco, they have Como Center, Bellagio. Yeah, they have a lot of them. We stay in Lecco a little bit north down on the lake. So if you look at Lake Como, is it in a Y or V shape, whatever way to set it up. So, and everything is far from each other. I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's 30 minutes from Lecco to Bellagio. Is a 2 hours journey from Como City to Verona, or an hour and a half. So they're very far apart. It's not a small lake. Yes, this is only this kilometer. It's a lie. It's massive, and you get lost easily. So transportation was the biggest problem. And I know I'm not going in any order, and that's just follow along. But transportation was so hard for us. I remember one day, okay, so the first day we got there to the train station, it took us an hour and a half to get a taxi to go home. Everybody keep getting off the train. They had someone standing waiting for them with a name tag. We did not know that. Lesson number one, write this down. Book your taxi online before you get there. Even if you're taking a train there, make sure there's taxi waiting for you. If you're taking the bus, make sure there's someone waiting for you to take you to your destination. If not, you will be stranded. So the way we were able to get transportation was we called the hotel, and then they sent a taxi for us. And they charged 140 euros, 130 euros. It was so expensive. They will rip you off if you do everything last minute, and that is the honest truth around this. The other thing was, let me talk a little bit more on transportation, because this is the biggest piece of this trip. This is what stranded us a lot. Everything shut down in Italy, in Lake Como, around 9 p.m. The bus stopped running at 10. Taxis stop running at 9. So if you don't have a driver that you already booked and scheduled for, if you out past 9 o'clock, you're probably gonna walk back home. There is no train. The last ferry stop at 9 o'clock or 10, depending on which part of the lake you are. We were in Lecco. From Lecco to Bellagio, the ferry stopped running at 5 p.m. That is the last ferry. We did not know that. We did not know that. Lesson learned. Don't do that. Okay. Transportation was so bad. That was my biggest worry. We got stranded in Bellagio. Again, we didn't notice that everything shut down at a particular time. So when we took the train to Bellagio, we took a taxi to Bellagio. Again, that was 80 euros for a 30 minutes ride. Transportation very expensive there. There's no Uber, so they don't have any competition with transportation, so you're very stranded. And then two, the ferry is the cheapest, and the bus is also the cheapest, but it's not very easy to access. Only the ferry is easy to access, and it's shut down at 5 o'clock. I think the only place that have a lit ferry is Verona, and then they have the latest train is Como City, and they leave at 1 o'clock. But if you don't know that, you get stranded. That is the truth. Be careful with that. Rent your car if you want to. I won't recommend driving there, but because of what we experienced, I would do the drive. I would be the one driving this slow, and people will be honking at me, because you have your flexibility. After transportation though, food, I've eaten too much pasta for the rest of the year. Not pizza though, because I also have pizza. I'm African. I like it pepper. I like it salty. I like a little bit of salt. They didn't have that, so I won't really speak much on the food because some people might take offense to it, but the food wasn't given for me because of my background. The best restaurant we went to, it was called Untitled, and this is in Lake Como. I'm still reviewing Lake Como. Untitled was just, the food was good, the pizza, the ambience, the people, it was good. Bellagio, they had a decent food, but it wasn't that great. Now, will I want to visit Bellagio again? Not really. It's not my first place because it was a little bit racist, and let's talk about it. We did experience racism a lot in Italy, and I know you probably heard people talk about it. It is real. If you look like me, you will have that funny experience, because I remember we're in a restaurant and my friend May was calling the waiter to help her with water, and he was just like, shut up. And he walked past her. He never helped her. It was very sad, and I know she didn't care about it, but it bothered me a lot. And then I went and talked to the manager about it. He was just like, okay, what do you want me to do? Beat him up. So that is one. And then the people kept touching me because they were like, I had this body butter, I was glowing. They kept touching me. Oh, you tan well. No, I'm not tan, I'm dark. So that was one of my other issues with them, is the racism information part. And then Como City, to be honest, I didn't really like Como City. The same thing, we got stranded again. We had to figure our way out back to Leco. Transportation is just a hot mess. Oh, one big thing that really got to me while we were there, it was like the outfit. Everybody's in dresses. Everybody is perm and proper and no. And I mean, I think May already knew this. I didn't know that, so she had majority dresses. So the first night we went out, I was wearing this really nice two-piece orange set. Everybody and their mom had on these nice and pretty dresses. I was very offended, and I know I shouldn't be because I'm a content creator and I'm a stylist, but I didn't get the memo. So here's the memo: carry your nice dresses, because everybody is in dress and the guys are in linen, and it's way too romantic. Way too romantic. Don't go that single. I'm pretty sure if you heard this, don't go to Italy single. It's too romantic. So that was Lake Como. It was too prim and proper for me. It was too elegant and posh. But at the same time, if that's your cup of tea, that's still your cup of tea. Don't get me wrong, I'm elegant, I'm still posh, but we didn't listen to one African music. I know I'm looking for needle in a grain of sand or a bunch of sand, but yeah, there was no dancing. We ended up just doing everything at home. And I ate way too many gelatos. It's that version of ice cream, but it's not too heavy, it's not too fatty, and it's good. So yeah. Again, we did a boat ride there. It was really good. Everything in Lake Como is expensive. Plan ahead of time, save enough money. It's not going to be a cheap trip, I will say that. So then we left Lake Como. We went to Amalfi. The way we got to Amalfi, we took a taxi from Lake Como to Milan. That cost us about 130 euros. And then we took a flight from Milan to Napoli, as they call it, which is Naples. But I think the flight was $99 a person, but then we paid for our luggage, so it came to like $39 or $60 something a person. There was a little bit of tax to it, but the flight was cheap by itself. And then also the same things applies to Lake Como. There is no airline in Amalfi itself. And I know all the girls, all the boys are in Amalfi right now, and I do agree, it's a place you want to go. It's very serenic. Yes, that's the right word. It's in the mountains. That is another thing I did not know about Amalfi. It is in the mountains. People don't talk about this. The journey to get to that place is life-threatening. It's like you're going through the valley of shadow of death. You will fear no evil, because it just go like this. I'm like, damn. I was nauseous. If you're pregnant, you're gonna give birth. Thank God my best friend didn't come because she was not going to be happy. She was going to be so sick. It was going to be a mess. I'm so happy she didn't come. If you're pregnant, I don't know if your stomach get you shoot, but it was very scary. And again, I did not know that. I didn't do my research. That's on me, and this is why this video is here. Just know Amalfi is in the mountains, and it takes an hour and a half from Naples to get there. And don't go to Naples alone. Don't. You can look that up. I'm not going to give you that information. Don't go to Maple alone. So we were smart with Maple. We booked the transportation ahead. So we had the little guy with a little note with our name on it. You know, I thought that was pretty cute. That was my first experience. Like, I'm the posh girl. I have someone waiting for me. That was really dope. I really like that. So they picked us up. It's an hour and a half drive. The drive is going like this. He didn't even care. I almost throw up. I thought I was about to open the car door and jump out of it. It's very stressful. People don't talk about that. It's very stressful getting to Amalfi. It's very is. And the other thing about Amalfi you should know is they have like different pieces of Amalfi, right? They have this one section. The villages is what I'm trying to get at. They have Scala, which is where we stay. They have Positano. They have Ravello. So many villages, and they're just like in each village there'll be like 600 people living here, and then there's like 1,500 people living here. So it's very small and central. Everybody knows each other. It's very medieval times. So if you love medieval times like I do, you'll be very happy because the streets are still very vintage. The lighting is still like lantern. I really love that. It spoke to me because those are things I like. I love medieval times. I watch Kings and Queens movies. Those are my thing. I love Reign, the TV show. I love Queen of England's TV show. So I was literally living that life that I really like. So that was really cool for me. We stayed at a very nice hotel. It's a bed and breakfast. They only have 12 rooms in there. It's called Hotel Zitonio. It was the best time of our life. I love that bed and breakfast. Like I told you in my story, it really made me reconsider when I travel, like if I should stay in more bed and breakfast, because they really treated us as family. I am going to give a very shout out to Stefano and Lucia, I think that's her name. She did a good job. They really looked after us. They cared for us. Like they called taxi, they scheduled activities for us. Breakfast in bed is part of the bill. Like literally breakfast in bed. They won't let you skip it. If you don't come down for breakfast, they'll call in your room, take your order and bring it up, and you're not paying for it, and you have a view to it. I hope I didn't spit to your face. I think that was like my favorite part of that hotel because it really made sure we were okay and we were well taken care of. We didn't get introduced to limoncello shots in Lake Como. We got introduced to it in Amalfi, and this is why the girls act like a when they're in Amalfi, because that thing is complete gin, but it's a sweet gin. You get drunk from the limoncello shot. Definitely try it. I brought some back home. I can't wait to have my friends over and we can try it because I want them to experience it because I really like the limoncello shot. It's not too strong. You won't know you're drinking gin, but it's real gin and you get drunk off of it like that because I know I did. Okay. In terms of activities wise, I don't know if I said this for Lake Como, but we mostly just sightsaw, we shopped, we ate, we rode a boat, we went to, what's the guy's name, Josh Clooney house. We saw nice hotels and expensive hotels on the lake. Those are the things we did. So you can definitely do activities like seeing museums and like highlighted areas that tourists go, like where they shot the James Bond movie in Bellagio. We didn't really plan good for this trip, so we really didn't do like touristy activities, but I like that because we just went with the flow and did what we like, and that's what made me happy. For definitely have to get on the lake. It's a little bit pricey, but if you book ahead of time, you won't be charged like the way we were, because we pay about 340 euros for an hour on the lake. That is a no-no. If you book early, it's cheaper. And then when we got to Amalfi, like I said, Hotel Zitonia was the best experience. We stayed in Scala, which is about 20 minutes bus ride down to Amalfi city itself. Again, because the villages of Provence are so little, they don't have many houses, and all the houses get booked early. We didn't book in advance, so we couldn't stay on Amalfi itself because we booked so late. But if you schedule a year in advance, you probably have a house or someone renting an Airbnb for you to rent. But other than that, it's not an option. So we ended up staying in Scala, which I really like because you sit on the top of the hill and you see Amalfi down in the water, which is dope. What did I do when we got to Amalfi? We did a wine tasting. Again, this is very last minute. The hotel scheduled it for us, and then we rented a boat. We didn't get to go to Capri because the day we were supposed to go, we didn't know that you had to leave 10 a.m. in the morning. We come outside at 2:45 p.m. ready to go to Capri. She was like, you ain't gonna come back. She was like, y'all not coming back, y'all gonna sleep there because the last ferry from Capri to Amalfi is at 8 p.m. and your appointment is at 7 p.m. You can't make it unless you take the lit train. Guess what time is the lit ferry? Sorry. Guess what time is the lit ferry? 9:30. But then it don't bring you to Amalfi. It takes you to Naples, and then you have to take another hour and a half transportation down to Scala. So we couldn't do that. So we didn't get to go to Capri, and I think it's somewhere I definitely want to do again. But we did go to Positano. I don't know if I like it. I know it's cute. It's very, very crowded. So many people were there. Like when you get off the boat, you're about to fall in the water. That many people were there. It's very serenic. It's very cute. The food was good. The people are, but it's too expensive for me. Now, for someone like me that likes to spend money, like I'm married to a billionaire, but I didn't really like it. Like little things cost way too much money, and sorry for the background noise. It wasn't giving me what I wanted, but overall it was a good experience. I'm glad I went there, and I think you should go to. Don't just take my word for it, because what I like, you might not like it. And then, but from Scala to Positano was only 30 minutes on a ferry, and then it's 3 hours on the bus, because it's an hour and a half on the bus, but there are stops. And then if you get to the bus station, say you're in Scala and you go into Positano, you take a 20 minutes bus down to, it's actually 14 minutes. They tell you 20 minutes, 40 minutes, because by the time the bus gets to Ravello and the people get off and get on, that's additional 10 minutes have gone, and then they come down. It's a whole thing. So the reason why it took me 4 hours on the bus from Positano to Scala, because our bus was 20 minutes late. So by the time we got down to Scala, the 10 o'clock bus was gone, and it took an hour and a half to come down. And then so I had to wait till 11:30, so it took me about 4 to 5 hours to go, but I didn't mind, because at that point we haven't really experienced Amalfi itself. We just came from Scala and just got on the train straight to Positano, so it gave me time. And May stayed in Positano because she really loved it. And there's the thing about May and I that I really love about a trip: we give each other space. If she wanted to do one thing alone, I'll let her do it, and vice versa. She really loved Positano. I really didn't. I've already experienced it the first night. I've already gone to a club there the first night. It wasn't a thing that I wanted to do it again. She went there and I came back home. But then that gave me time to experience Amalfi at night, which is very lively. I really liked it. I saw a couple of black people there, not many, but was it crowded? Yes, there were so many people. The beach is nice. We did experience it. Overall, it's something that you should definitely experience. And let me look at my questionnaire before I forget something, but I think I kind of like answer all of the questions in bulk, like flight and how much it costs, overall flight experience, travel to Amalfi, travel to Lake Como, transportation, what to expect and not to expect. Don't expect, I don't don't know. I think because my cousin had just came from Greece, and I think I was thinking it would be the same thing. But again, the Greek versus the Italian, I don't know why I thought it was going to be the same thing. I don't know why. I expected the place to be white houses, white this. It wasn't. So that was a bad no-no on my side. Definitely be dressed for the part, because everybody's dressed for the part. Definitely have a lot of money, because everything is twice as expensive. But I will say Lake Como is more expensive than Amalfi. Amalfi is a little bit cheaper, and I like that. In terms of transportation, you guys have already listened to this. It's very terrible, so prepare for it. The food was... I'll leave it as that. Overall, it was a great experience. I'm not gonna lie, it was a 10 out of 10. I am planning to go back to Italy because I want to go to the bigger city now. I want to go to Tuscany, Milan, Florence, Venice, Sicily, like Rome. I want to go to the bigger city now, bigger cities. My Invisalign's not helping, but yeah, so I'll definitely go back. Overall, I'm not gonna give total of how much I spent. You can do the math on the numbers I've dropped here and there. It was a very expensive trip for me. This is the most expensive trip I've ever been on, but it was worth it because I went with somebody that's really kind and nice. That's one. Two, it was an experience that I've never had, and part of my prayer to God this year was make my finances good enough that I don't worry about money when I travel, and God did that for me, so I'm very grateful for that. I didn't worry too much about the finances. Sorry about the background noise. Overall, it's a 10 out of 10. If you have any questions for me, put it in the question box below and I'll answer them. I think I answered everything because people ask how long was the journey, and like I said, I gave all of that. The cost, those were the questions. Did I like it? Yes. Outfits, I gave y'all daily inspo as much as I could. Some of the outfit was in the Shein haul. I'll put that link there. So, and you guys have seen all of that. So overall, it was a 10 out of 10 for me. I'll definitely go back. Yes, we did experience racism, but it's not going to stop me because I have experienced it even within Africa and in America. So what's the point? Well, why am I going to deprive myself of someone else's mentality? But overall, that was my experience with Italy. And let me know if you want to see more experiences video of my travels. I have a trip coming up. Let me know if you want me to talk about that. I am going to Cuba soon. You'll probably see this video after I'm gone, or before I'm gone, or while I'm in Cuba. But let me know if you guys wanted me to talk about my experience in Cuba, and I'll definitely do that. If you haven't done this already, please hit the subscribe button to turn on the notification bell. Share this with your aunties and your friends and your husbands and your wives. I am building my YouTube and I want it to grow. So thank you for hanging out with me. Hit the subscribe button. I am Marina. I heard my lady in closet. Ciao.